In this video, I'll take you from working through the data to presenting it in a slides presentation. Start in your Moodle app, scroll down to the Data Exploration 1, Santarch. Expand that little down arrow. Tap on the link. If you get this message, just say OK. I'm going to select my account. You can select your own college student account. I'll say OK. At this point, I can't actually work on the spreadsheet because as it says at the top, it's view only. So I go to the upper right, tap on the three dots, and make a copy. And I will make a copy, and I'll say OK. Now, depending on the size of your phone, the numbers may run off the bottom of your screen, as they do on mine. So I'll have to be careful of that when working with this data. I'm going to go up here and shrink this column over. I'm going to set up a table here on the right. Over here, I'm going to put the name of the statistic that I want. And over here next to it, I'll put the value of that particular statistic that I want to have. I'll press the check. And then I'm going to right align that. That'll come up later. I'm going to do the sample size first. The sample size. Use the letter N for the sample size. And that's just equal to the count. As you notice, the functions are appearing above as I type. I can just tap on count and select the function without typing the whole thing. On a laptop, you'll have to type the whole thing. Then I'm going to tap in A2, and then I'm going to tap again and drag down. And I'm going to make sure I go all the way down to row 31, where the last number is. That's technically 30 numbers down to row 31. We also often calculate the median value. If you have trouble with the tap and drag, you can also type these in. So I can type in median, open parenthesis, A2 to A31. These numbers will change with every single data set. You'll have to adjust them to fit the data for that particular assignment. But this data goes down to A31, so that will get me the median value. I want to do the mean, which in spreadsheets uses the word average. So I'll start typing average. It'll appear right up here. Don't use the average deviation. That's something completely different. Some students will tap that first item. That's totally irrelevant in this case. Go down to A31, press check, and there's your average. The last one I'm going to add in is the standard deviation, which we often abbreviate with SX. For the standard deviation of X, this would be like X data. We don't have any Y data yet. That'll come in chapter 4. Type standard deviation, there it is. And again, I'm going to tap and tap drag, or I could type it. Either one, and then press check. Got a few extra decimals here. I can, if I want, control the decimals, get them down a little bit smaller by going to Format and scrolling down and picking up and decreasing the decimal places from this little arrow here. A couple decimals, that's plenty. Good enough right there. And with that, I'll press the check up here, and I'll close the format. I'll format this a little bit, just to make it look a little nicer. I'll tap here and drag across, and set that maybe to be bold, and maybe give it a little bit of a tint to the background. I'll come back to this table later. What I am going to do now, I'm going to need this later, is I'm going to tap, drag, and then grab that drag again, and then tap again, and I'm going to copy that table. That'll hold that table for me in the clipboard for when I'll need it later. Next, I'm going to press the plus sign at the top to make a chart. Wait, and if that happens, go ahead and delete the errant chart. I do have to tell it what I want a chart of on this, so I've got to go over here and drag down to there. Include the first row, which is the label, plus. That'll help build the labels on your chart. That's a line chart. That's not very informative. It just says that my runs down the Spanish Wall and back bounce up and down in time, rather randomly. So I type down at the bottom, I'll click on line chart. We're going to grab a chart from chapter 3. This one on the right that you see here with the little blocks. Tap that and you'll get this. That's called a histogram. And we'll meet this in chapter 3. And instead of showing me each and every run, it batches my runs together. Runs from 23 minutes to 26, 26 to 29 minutes, and 29 to 32, and shows it. Those are my most common runs. These runs 29 to 32. This isn't the time in minutes on that axis, so I'll go back to the titles on the left vertical axis. That's actually the number of runs. It's not the time. I can't run down and back in 15 minutes. That's the number of runs. And the times are then on the bottom, the times in minutes, and I can add those to the horizontal axis. That's where the time in minutes belongs, down there. So now I've got labels. I'm going to take off the title because it's redundant. A legend, that legend there. I tapped on the legend and it came up. I'm going to scroll down and tell it none. I don't need that because it always says it at the top and it now says it at the bottom. So the chart is good enough. When I've got the chart done, however I want to do it, including I could play with the color if I want to, I simply press the check and it will appear in my chart. It's a little too big, so in order to screen capture it, which is what I'm going to have to do on a cell phone, there's a different procedure on a laptop. You can use the insert menu to insert a chart. But I'll actually shrink this guy down, and then I'll screen capture this chart, and then I'll upload the screen capture. I'm not going to do that here because I'm doing a video on the same phone that I'm trying to do a screen capture, and that will cause a collision in the camera subsystem. But that's my chart I'm going to need later on. And I've already copied the table, so I don't want to copy again. So I'm going to press check, come out of there, and I'm going to now open up my slides and open up a brand new slide, new presentation. It'll come up in a simple light. We can change that later. I'll call this runs to Santarch. The arch at Santiago de la Ascensión, otherwise known as Spanish Wall. Check at the upper left. That's my title slide. At the lower right, I can add a slide. I want to add only a title only slide. This one here, title only. Because this is where I'm going to put in my basic statistics. My basic statistics. Again, we don't present spreadsheets to an audience. We usually present slides. And so I want to have a slide set here. Now I'm just tapping on my screen, tapping on it, and I type paste, and there's my table. It's a little tiny, but I'll fix that in a moment. I can stretch that table out by grabbing these little things at the corner. Now, that's my whole table there selected, so I'm going to go to my format. It's all selected, and I'm going to tell it to bring them up in size. This is so it presents well to an audience, so they can see the numbers. I'd even try 24. Yeah, that'll fit even better. 24. That will now look good when I present it, either on Zoom or to a live audience or on Google Meet or any other package. So I've got my basic statistics that I can show to the audience. It takes me about 29 minutes median time. Half my runs faster, half slower, with an average of about 28 minutes. I'll add another slide, and again I'll use a title-only slide, and I'll add I'm double tapping, just as it says, double tap, histogram, tap here. Remember I said I screen captured this one, so I'm going to show you how to pick that guy up. Go to plus, image down here, from photos, grab your screen capture, and there's your chart right there. And it came in nice and big. Now, we never end just on statistics in a chart. There will probably be more statistics. B, we always end on a discussion. Now, this is a real simple beginning of term exercise. So we'll have a discussion. In this discussion, we can say runs averaged 28 minutes with median of 29 minutes, just for example, 29 minutes, whatever. Basic, simple discussion. And again, I can go to my format and maybe try to bring that up some. I'll probably have to select it first. Let's see if I can do that. Probably can't. Yeah, there we go. Select it, and now I can bring it up in size. It's a little too small. That's better. And I can change the font if I want to use something more legible. That's a more legible font. And so there's always a discussion and some sort of conclusion that wraps up any slide set. So with that done, I can go ahead and press the check. One more thing to do at this point. I don't yet have a title for my slides. Put away the format, press X. So I'm going to go to the three-dot menu at the upper right. Tap on that. It's already suggested one. I'm going to put in my name, just so I can keep track of what I'm the one that did that. Maybe I'll add my name here too, just for fun. There you go. Always take credit for your own work. But you'll want the title so in your drive it will show up with that. When you go to submit this assignment, you'll be able to do that submission then from the Drive connection itself. That is, from your Moodle app, you'll have a submit button that I don't have down here. And when you tap submit, you can then pull that from your drive using the Google thing. It's useful to remember the title because that's how you're going to look for it in the drive. And I'll have to cover that. That's covered in a separate video or presentation. I'll get that out to you as well. But that's data exploration 1. It's to get you used to using sheets to produce slides, and you submit the slides. You do not submit the sheets. That's where we do our scratch work, and we submit the slides. We use the slides as our presentation. Thanks for watching.